This TikTok trend actually cost someone their life. Look at this.
Exact trend and had to go to the hospital right after because
Let's get into it.
dances and stupid challenges, which you're not wrong. But over the years, a lot of the TikTok challenges have gone from cringe to dangerous to death-defying.
Did they actually went from cringe, then dangerous, then to stupid?
So what I'm gonna do today is talk about some of the TikTok trends that have gone so far as to cause irreversible injuries and death. Now, if you're a fan of this channel, you know that I have talked about this topic before, but most of the time when I try to do it, I always get age restricted. So please forgive me if I start doing the Ray William Johnson TikTok logo by saying words like unalive. I'm just trying not to get censored. And also, I'm gonna be talking about a lot more trends that I've never talked about before in this video. So let's get into it. Now, this first one isn't necessarily a trend, but it did inspire a lot of bullshit. Now, it all started when a girl named Tessia Brown posted a video on TikTok when after—
I heard this. I heard that she used Gorilla Glue for some type of stupid trend because she thought using Gorilla Glue could like lay down her edge or something, and she got her hair stuck to her actual scalp.
Ran out of hairspray, she used Gorilla Glue spray into her hair. Now, for those not aware, Gorilla Glue is something you don't put in your hair because it's glue. So her hair became stuck to her scalp and unmovable. Her video got over 50 million views and everyone was—
To get your video to 50 million views, just off of that dumb trend, gotta be the craziest thing I ever seen.
To her story. She became the biggest laughingstock all over social media, having SNL mention her in a skit and even Nicki Minaj mentioning her in a song. But at the same time, people were sympathetic and actually raising thousands of dollars for her on GoFundMe. She did go to the hospital to try to get the product removed from her hair, but it's not that—
She really didn't need a GoFundMe because it was her fault that her hair got stuck to her scalp. Nobody told her that Gorilla Glue could work just like hair glue.
That's simple. The nurses would try nail polish remover to get it off of her scalp, but it was no use. Now, eventually, a plastic surgeon did a hair surgery for her that usually would cost 12 grand, but did it for free because he felt bad for her. And again, this wasn't necessarily a trend, but it did inspire a lot of bullshit. Now, when the story went viral, a man from Louisiana thought that Tessia was lying entirely and tried it out for himself. But instead of putting Gorilla Glue on his hair, he put it on his lips, which is 1,000
That worse. That worse than you put it on your hair.
And he had to go through this extremely painful procedure to get it removed. I don't know why he did it or why he thought she was lying, but he did. Another girl was jealous of the attention that Tessia got and decided to put Gorilla Glue in her hair as well. And just like how it was with Tessia, it also got stuck on her—
Yo, Tessia started a new trend. Be dumb and be dumb. I don't got nothing else to say. Dumber and dumber, run through the whole TikTok trend.
She claimed that this was an accident, but it was very obviously a crowd chase move. And at this point, hospitals just straight up denied her because this was getting ridiculous. Like, one time is understandable, second time is wild, but a third time, come the fuck on now. But a trend that—
Yeah, one time, cool. Second time, like, alright, you just doing it to test out. But doing the third time, now y'all just playing with us.
That unfortunately did get super popular was the teeth filing trend, where people would use a nail file to grind down their teeth. This was apparently to help fix certain ridges and overall just make your teeth look better, and it possibly also helped them be whiter. And it was also because it was cheaper than a dentist. And while this does sort of make them a little bit more aesthetic, it causes a lot more issues. It makes your teeth a lot more sensitive to hot or cold foods. It can alter your bite formation. You can get tooth decay or infection, and it also can cause extreme bleeding, and that's on top of possibly horrendously deforming your teeth. Teeth don't grow the same way that nails or hair do, so if you mess up your teeth, they don't just magically regrow. But believe me, soon enough, some of—
Believe me, teeth are not like nails. With nails, you can cut off your nails, and then a month or a week or so, nail grow right back. Our teeth are not like that.
the people doing this trend did regret it.
Looking at it just is painful.
It was not painful.
Whoever started that
as
trend
the days went on,
should never did it in the first place.
Cream, and then who a lot of sensitivity in my teeth.
So at least a lesson was learned. But this trend honestly looks intelligent compared to the DIY Vampire Fangs challenge. This kind of feels like a combination of the last two trends because people would super glue fangs onto their teeth. Some people would use other types of glue.
Normally, people don't super glue the fangs to their teeth. They use like gold Elmer glue or something, no stick glue that you use at school. Not actual glue.
Like nail glue, but regardless, equally dumb. And assuming you learned from the last trend, I don't think I need to tell you why this is stupid. This oddly enough did go viral around the exact same time as the teeth filing trend because people don't learn. And 2020 was such a weird time. But hilariously enough though, what actually went a lot more viral was the videos of them trying to take the fangs out after super gluing them in.
Wow. So that's the reason why it went viral.
Well, fuck.
She can't even take out. Now you realize we.
Okay.
You fucked up. Oh, she crying. Oh my God. She crying.
But there also were a lot of stupid TikTok beauty hack trends that weren't just bad for your teeth. One of the dumbest by far was the erection cream trend, where beauty influencers would put erection cream on.
Did y'all actually seen that trend? And did y'all actually try that trend? Drop it down in the comments.
Their lips to make them more plumpy. Now this all stems from a scene in the movie A Nice Girl Like You where one of the characters does this exact same thing and they get very big plumpy lips. Now a popular TikToker did try it out for himself and found out that it does indeed work because, well, it does. But also found out that it burns pretty fucking badly. The thing is, any dermatologist will tell you that erection cream does not belong here. That type of product is made for areas with pretty thick skin and your lips do not have thick skin on them. The swelling is a result of irritation, which is why that product is made for certain areas. Because putting erection cream on your lips can cause heart problems, heart palpitations, headaches, drops in blood pressure, and other stuff too. And that's because it's made to be applied on an area that has a lot of blood pumping, hence why it goes on, you know, that certain area. But at least these beauty trends never caused anyone to go to the hospital, unlike the dry scoop challenge. This was a trend where people would just ingest a scoop of pre-work powder with no water or anything. And in case you guys don't know, pre-workout is basically an energy powder that is packed with caffeine.
Who thought about this? I want to know who be doing these trends and who be the one who say, hey, we're going to do these trends and then we're going to follow up on the trend. Who thought about doing that?
That is made to take before you work out at the gym. And the way you're supposed to consume it is by pouring the powder into a glass of water, mixing it up, and then drinking it. And this trend probably seems familiar because it's heavily inspired by the cinnamon challenge that was super viral back in the early 2010s.
Yeah, that cinnamon challenge
This was when people would try to eat dry scoops of cinnamon powder without coughing. Almost no one was successful doing it, and the horrible failures made some pretty hilarious videos. That trend is not very safe either, but it's nothing compared to this one.
The cinnamon challenge is not safe, but it's not dangerous.
Pre-workouts are not designed to raw dog. You should not be ingesting them like that. And doing this can cause heart issues, lung issues, seizures, and death. Now, OF influencer Brittany Portillo did this exact trend and had to go to the hospital right after. Because when doing the trend, she had a heart attack.
Alright guys, so I had a heart attack, as most of you guys know, from taking this Redcon 1 Total War, and I dry scooped it. But I think even if I put it in water, I would have been as stout anyways.
She did make a full recovery, thankfully, but this was one of the few recorded cases of this challenge. Again, you're not supposed to be ingesting those types of chemicals like that. But when it comes to food challenges, though, I think nothing really tops the cake with the NyQuil chicken challenge. This is easily one of the worst trends on TikTok because of just how ridiculous it is. Also known as the sleepy chicken challenge, it was a trend where people would basically cook chicken and NyQuil.
You're telling me you're cooking the chicken and NyQuil? How stupid you gotta be to do this?
cough medicine. The appeal with this is that you were killing two birds with one stone because you were getting your medication while also eating some good protein. And if this trend sounds so stupid that it sounds like a joke, well, that's actually how it started. Back in 2017, a Twitter user posted a picture of some chicken being cooked in cough medicine with the caption, "If she makes you NyQuil chicken, don't let her go." And obviously this was meant to be a joke because who the flying fuck would make that for their significant other? But somehow, some way, it resurfaced years later on TikTok and people took it seriously. I mean, for one, dangers aside,
I don't even know what that person was using at tone to. I don't want to know what, because that person should have already been in jail or probably banned from TikTok for life.
This just tastes fucking nasty. I mean, I don't know if you guys ever tried NyQuil before, but it tastes like dog doo-doo. And health-wise, this does the opposite for you, too. For one, a lot of people who did this recipe don't really know the exact measurements, so they end up actually putting way too much cough medicine in there and technically overdosing. And if you guys have watched any drug program, then you know that's not safe. That could cause dizziness, hallucinations, liver problems, and seizures. But the danger isn't actually from eating it. No, it's actually from cooking it. When you cook cough medicine in that type of way, it releases certain gases that you are not supposed to be inhaling. And if you inhale them, that can cause a lot of issues. And that's basically what happened to someone. When a 61-year-old man tried to recreate this challenge, he actually had to go to the hospital and suffered from acute respiratory distress syndrome. And for those that don't know, it basically means that your lungs just stop working. And you kind of need those to breathe. The good news was that at least a lot of kids didn't do this trend, but that cannot be said about the squishy toy trend. This was a trend where people bought specific squish toys from a company called Nido, which were essentially these cube-shaped rubber toys with a certain specific filling in them. They would put these toys in the freezer and then in the microwave. And the purpose of this was to make the texture.
What the purpose of it? Is the purpose to make the texture soft and hard? It's something like that, but I can't actually see that or tell y'all what we're really trying to be.
Extra malleable, but these kind of toys are not meant to be microwaved, at all. Freezing something like that and then putting it in the microwave can cause a lot of extreme pressure changes. And that's exactly what happened to a 7-year-old child who suffered extreme burns from doing this challenge. After she microwaved the toy, it exploded and the burning gel was all over her skin, which gave her severe permanent burns, which as you can imagine is pretty damn painful. But those weren't nearly as severe as the injuries caused by the milk crate trend.
I just realized most of the trends are bad, and then I think there only been 2 that actually wasn't too bad, so I can't say death or close to death on challenge.
This was a trend where people basically made this podium made out of milk crates, and they would try and get from one end to the other without falling or breaking the podium. Now, milk crates are not very sturdy. They're extremely wobbly and not made to be stepped on, which is why this trend is so damn difficult and dangerous. This trend was extremely popular back in 2021, getting millions upon millions of views. All the big influencers were doing it, but here's the thing. If you did the trend successfully, you were fine. But if you failed, well, they would suffer a lot of shit. This trend was a lot more.
When you fail, you will suffer a lot. And what I about to say, 90% of people never actually succeed in the challenge.
More dangerous than people thought. A ton of people had broken ribs, broken wrists, dislocated shoulders, and even concussions from doing this trend. It's estimated that nearly 30,000 people were injured from doing this fucking challenge. It got to the point where TikTok had to remove any hashtag involved with it and all of the videos. And if you thought this challenge was stupid, well, you're gonna love the dropping things on my foot challenge. From the name alone, I think you can tell where this is going. And it's exactly what it sounds like. People would take certain objects and drop them on their foot and then rate the pain scale from 0 to 10. And at first, it didn't really start off that bad. People would drop light objects like hairbrushes or toilet rolls. But then the idiots had to come in and do extremely unnecessary stuff like air fryers, chairs, and monitors. Now, it doesn't take a doctor to tell you why dropping heavy objects like that on your feet is not very smart, but what?
So, we started off light, medium, and then we started off dangerous. What the f is wrong with y'all?
One of the people who did this trend did break her foot. A 40-year-old woman was on a cruise with her cousin and did this trend after having a few drinky drinks. And at first she did simple things like a spoon and a doorstop that, you know, don't really hurt that much. But then she moved on to bigger objects like a standing fan and a fucking suitcase. Those things are pretty heavy. And immediately after dropping the suitcase, she broke her foot and had to get a cast over it. But hey, at least it was only a foot being broken because the trust him trend could have resulted in your entire body being broken. The trust him trend was a trend where girls would stand in front of their boyfriend while they drove at them at full speed and trusted that they would.
Why did trend not remove? Did TikTok remove the trend?
Stop in time to not hit them. This was meant to be a cute little trend to see just how much these girls trusted their boyfriends. And if the top redeeming quality about a guy is the fact that he wouldn't hit you with the car, then girl, you need to raise your standards. Now, the trend was done pretty safely by a lot of people because if you watch the videos, you can see that they were not really driving that fast. Maybe like 10 miles per hour at most. But that wasn't everybody. I think you see where this is going. Australian TikToker Emily Webb did this trend not with her boyfriend, but with a guy friend. This guy did not stop in time and slammed into her pretty damn hard. At one point with her leg being stuck under the car. And it horrendously damaged her ankle. And she posted the video herself because she thought that it would still get like a ton of views. She said herself that she only posted
She dumb. Dumb blonde do dumb things.
Because it was I'm sorry for saying that. I don't regret it, but I definitely do not want to get hit by a car again. I feel lucky that it wasn't a centimeter further. It could have been so much worse. I've learned I can't trust a man. Good to know that her main takeaway from this is that she can't trust men. And not to avoid doing really dumb, dangerous TikTok challenges. What a relief. But this next trend takes stupidity to a whole new level. Now, the penny challenge was a challenge where people would put a phone charger halfway into an outlet and then drop a penny onto the prongs. This would cause the charger to start short-circuiting and even start a fire.
Where is the safe trend? How are you gonna get like two, maybe one okay trend, but it's like 2.5 trend good and everything else is horrible?
Probably thinking, wow, that's outrageously dangerous, and yes, it is which is why a bunch of kids did it. This wasn't like other trends where initially it started off silly and then maybe got a little more dangerous. No, this was dangerous as fuck the entire time. You have to understand that when even our charger is still even somewhat plugged in, there's still electricity coming through it, and when the penny touches the prongs, it starts conducting that electricity. This makes the penny heat up to hundreds of degrees in milliseconds, which causes the electricity to jump into the air and then cause a fucking fire. This trend caused so many fires to the point where the fucking fire marshal had to step in and tell kids not to do this shit. Safety tip, kids. Sometimes old circuit breakers fail to trip and the
safety tip, kids. Don't you ever put a charger block halfway in there. Never do.
Wires in the wall will heat up to the point of setting your house on fire. As a licensed electrician, keep doing this, kids. Service calls from issues like this is easy money. 2 kids from Massachusetts who did this trend actually got arrested for it. Thankfully, they didn't cause a fire, but they damn near did. Both of them were arrested for attempted arson and malicious intent to property. Because even though it didn't cause a fire, the outlet did explode, which is like a best case scenario when you do this trend. Now, the cha-cha slide is easily one of the most head-slapping trends of all time. For this trend, people would drive in the car while playing the song Cha-Cha Slide. Whenever the song went to the left, they would swerve to the left direction. And whenever the song went to the right, they would swerve in the right direction.
Oh, so they use a dance challenge while they're
in both directions or just abruptly hit the brakes. I think you can all tell why this is dangerous, but just for shits and giggles, I'll explain it anyway. Swerving so hard on the road like this can be very dangerous because you can hit the other cars that are also driving nearby. You could also lose your control and possibly hit something and, you know, die. Thankfully, no one reportedly died from this trend, but there were a lot of accidents that did occur from it. But those injuries don't even remotely compare to the ones caused by the Skull Breaker Challenge. The name of this alone already gives you a little bit of an idea of what it's like.
I don't know. Like, I'm thinking, is it something with the skull? If it's something with the head, then that probably one of the things, but I don't know if it's dealing with the head.
This was a trend that involved two people tricking one person. Two people would get one person to jump in the air with them at the same time, and then they would kick the legs underneath of that third person, making them fall forward and hit their head on the ground. And now I think you see why it's called the Skull Breaker Challenge. The problem with this trend is that people would do it on extremely hard floors. If they did this on a soft surface like a mattress or something, then it would be completely fine, but not on a hard floor. Such sudden force to your head is not safe. And a bunch of kids got serious injuries at best, and at worst got concussions. Several kids were reported.
They weren't just doing a hard floor, they were doing a soft carpet floor, but it still wasn't safe.
To get concussions from this trend, including one kid from Cherry Hill who also had seizures after he was the victim of this trend. The two kids that did this to him were actually arrested and charged. They were charged with third-degree aggravated assault and third-degree endangering an injured person. In the UK, a girl who was the victim of this trend broke 3 bones in her neck and a vertebrae. To this day, she is still crippled and her life is heavily affected from this trend. So far, these are only the trends that have put people in the hospital. But what about the ones that actually...
What y'all think he about to say? And he about to say, what if the trend that actually kill someone? What if the trend that actually were safe? Which one y'all think he gonna say?
Actually have caused death. Reminder, viewer discretion is advised, so tread carefully. I don't think there's a better way off to start this one than with the Benadryl challenge. For this challenge, people would take extremely high amounts of Benadryl, which is an allergy medication. People would take extremely high doses off of it to get very high, because apparently it would cause hallucinations. The problem with this?
How you can get high off of Benadryl?
Well, taking high doses also can cause fucking death. In 2020, a kid from Oklahoma died after taking 14 Benadryl pills.
14?
TikTok banned the term from their app and banned any videos that were
14? So you taking Benadryl like you're smoking a cigarette. Benadryl is not the same as smoking a cigarette. They're not. And you're not supposed to smoke cigarette either.
And this worked temporarily, but it only lasted so long before the trend randomly resurfaced. A couple years later, a 13-year-old died after doing this trend after taking 13 pills on camera. Literally right after he did the trend, he started convulsing and was sent to the ER. He suffered horrible brain damage and spent 6 days in mechanical ventilation before he passed away. So far, those are the only reported hospitalizations that came from it, but there were definitely a lot more. But this wasn't nearly as bad as the blackout challenge that so many kids did as well. Now, this trend essentially required people to themselves, essentially depriving themselves of oxygen. And if done a certain way, it would give a euphoric sensation. But if done wrong, well, it caused fucking death. Now, this actually has been around for quite a long time, ever since the 90s, and was deemed the choking game. Basically doing the exact same thing.
Choking game, blackout. Hold up. I just realized it's just the same trend. Y'all just changed the name of it.
But again, it was extremely dangerous and has taken lives before. In fact, in 2008, the CDC discovered that around 82 kids have died between the years 1995 and 2007 from doing this game.
And
all of them between the ages of 6 and 19, because that's really who was doing this challenge. Young kids that were trying to make their friends laugh. And for so many years, the CDC has been trying to warn people not to do this game and to try and prevent anyone from possibly recreating it. And for a while, it did work. But then, somehow, some way, it made it comeback on TikTok. And tons of kids from the newer generation who had no idea about the dangers of this were now suddenly recreating it. Not a ton of kids did it, but there were shockingly a lot.
So that's why the newer kids started calling it blackout or something. I don't know what the name was, and I already forgot about it.
A lot of deaths that stemmed from it. In fact, it's estimated that around 20 deaths total came from this trend. All of them young, naive kids. But some of the parents did fight back. The family of a 10-year-old girl from Pennsylvania who died from this trend sued TikTok. Now, originally when this case was presented, the judge actually dismissed it, citing Section 230 of the 1990s.
You can't blame TikTok for that trend. You gotta blame the people who started the trend. And you gotta blame your daughter for allowing herself to do that dumb trend. It's her fault why she died.
Communications Decency Act, which is often used to protect internet companies from liability for things posted on their site. But then, that decision was actually appealed by a different judge, and currently is still continuing in the trial. Two families from Texas did the exact same thing when an 8-year-old and a 9-year-old girl died from doing this trend. They accused TikTok of intentionally pushing this type of content into their kids' algorithm.
I gotta say this again. you can't blame social media for the trending. You have to blame your kids. Your kids are the one who doing the trending. Social media is just there.
Biggest lawsuit that came from this was a family from the UK that sued for 4 kids dying from this trend. The families all came together and sued TikTok, deeming them as responsible. Whether you think TikTok themselves is directly responsible for these deaths is up to you. But one thing that's for certain is that kids definitely should not be allowed on these platforms, because they can see very, very stupid trends like the Angel of Death trend. Because this trend was basically asking
parents, put parent control on your kids' phone, put time on your kid's phone so your kid won't be a temp, and ban TikTok from your kid's phone. Maybe ban social media altogether.
For some shit. Now, unlike all these other trends that were actually in America, this one, oddly enough, was in Indonesia. And for this trend, people would quite literally just stand in front of cars while traffic was going on, hoping that they would stop. This is like a much more dumb version of the trust in trend, but also like 1,000 times more dangerous. And if you need me to explain why jumping in front of ongoing traffic is dangerous, well...
But I have seen people like go in traffic and just start like dancing or doing something while the car moving, and then they go off the road. But I never seen that type of trend like that.
Helpless. There's nothing that I can do or anyone can do. It's up to God at that point. There's so many deaths that have come from this challenge that I'm not even gonna bother listing them out. But the most dangerous trend on here that honestly I can't even actually talk about easily is the blue whale challenge. This trend is actually so fucked up and so out there that I can't even talk about it on this video.
Yo, if that video was wild, you haven't seen anything yet. I put my funniest reaction right here in this playlist, and YouTube thinks you will love this special video next. Click one of those, hit the sub button if you are new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.